This year, 10 nations will get together and reignite the flame of sporting friendship. Marking the launch of the 17th SEA Games, Konica is proud to be chosen as the official film of the colorful occasion.
Konica, Konica.
You join our live coverage of the opening ceremony of the 17th SEA Games high above the National Stadium, from where our overview camera, mounted on board a helicopter, will give you a stunning view of the ceremony, of the mass displays and the remarkable flashcard and flashlight presentations. It's 10 years since Singapore last hosted this regional sporting carnival, and without doubt, 1993 will go down as the most ambitious and dazzling undertaking in the 34-year history of the Games. Joining me as my co-commentator this evening is Diana Coe. Welcome, Diana. There's a great atmosphere here.
Yes, indeed, John. Hello, and a warm welcome also to the millions of viewers from around the region who are joining us live for a ceremony that promises action and quite a few surprises too. The stadium's packed, and the crowd's been here for the past couple of hours, singing along with the Singapore Schools Choir, practicing the Kallang Wave. Nearly 4,000 athletes and officials from 9 countries taking on one another in sporting rivalry in 29 events. In a few moments, there'll be the fanfare that'll kick off the entire ceremony.
You can see our MCs, Florence Liang, Sean McCulley, Dahlia Z, and Raphael B. Just caught a glimpse there of the blue tarpaulin that has covered the natural grass field of the arena. There, the SSO on stage, and right behind the SSO, the Combined Schools Choir, and the marvelous screen you can see as the girls come now on to center stage. And we await the fanfare, the arrival of our guest of honor.
And the Minister for Information and the Arts, Brigadier General Giorgio, sitting among the VIPs. Various ambassadors from various countries taking part in the SEA Games, attending today's ceremony.
And the countdown. Well, they've certainly done a great job, the MCs, in building up the atmosphere here at the 17th SEA Games opening. Want to count along at home?
And the title of the first mass display, Welcome to the Night City. 96 trumpeters from the Singapore Armed Forces and Dunman High School Band.
The skyline, Singapore, and the various people and children that you can expect to find inside Singapore. Welcome.
And these are the 800 girls from Nanyang Girls, St. Hilda's Secondary, Kuo Chuan Presbyterian and St. Teresa's Convent in Welcome to the Lion City, and forming a colourful backdrop for all the action, the flashcards. And if you watch them very carefully, for the first time, photographic flashcards have been used for this opening ceremony. And there you have it. Nearly 3,500 people holding high the flashcards, carefully coordinated and synchronized.
Simbol kotanya siang dan malam.
Schools Choir, nearly 800 strong. And Christina Ong, popular Singapore singer. Song called Brand New Day.
Everybody come out, let's commence to singing joyfully. Everybody look up, feel the hope that we've been waiting for. Everybody be glad, cause the silent fear and dread is gone. Freedom, you see, has got a heart singing so joyfully. Just look about, you owe it to yourself to check it out. Can't you feel a brand new day? Can't you feel a brand new day? Can't you feel a brand new day? Can't you feel a
And you can just make out the flash bulbs going off in these spectators. No doubt proud mums and dads wanting to record this day.
Really is a riot of colour there, as you see from our helicopter camera. Welcome to 100 million people from around the region. The flashcard display now moves into a different scenario.
Everybody be glad, 'cause sun is
youngsters from
shining
different
just for
ethnic
us.
groups.
Everybody wake up to the morning and
Skirted
to
by the flag.
happiness. It's like a different way of living now.
Christina's certainly enjoying herself.
We always knew that we'd be free somehow, in harmony, to show the world that we've got liberty. It's such a change, bustling so independently.
And in the official colours of the 17th SEA Games, red, blue, yellow and green, the sunscreens have been held. Now, aren't those physiques that would inspire anyone to want to keep fit, John?
All right.
And in Chinese, a welcome Huan Ying, formed of the bright blue tarpaulin that's formed centre stage in the National Stadium today. Quite a difference from having the green field.
Singing joyfully. Hey, everybody look up, feel the hope we've been waiting for. Everybody be glad, 'cause silent fear and dread is gone. Freedom, you see, has got a heart singing so joyfully.
Background there you see coloured balloons, same colours, red, green, blue and yellow. Those positions will be filled in just a while by athletes and officials.
Selamat datang, welcome in Malay. And the girls will be forming the word welcome in the 4 official languages of Singapore.
Really is a beautiful evening here in Kallang. Just off to the right, as we look, is Changi Airport, and the lights there high above the towers, bringing in the evening glow. But it really is a stunning sight for all the 60,000 spectators packed into this marvellous stadium.
And there you have it, Nalvaravu in Tamil. Another welcome to all our friends from around the region. You know, John, we couldn't have asked for a better evening for this ceremony. The weather's cleared up, it's cool, wonderful atmosphere.
Certainly. Well, I put out my chili and onions. I don't know about you. We've had some rain in the practices, but tonight it's marvellous. I wonder what they're going to form now. The large balloons on the outside move in closer. Welcome to the Lion City, Singapore. Not only are we saying welcome to the Lion City, but look at this, the riot of colour, green and red balloons being hoisted, lifted into the air.
Po Chuan Presbyterian, Nanyang Girls, St. Teresa's and St. Hilda's secondary schools. And so once again, ladies and gentlemen, would you please give them another round of applause?
Ladies and gentlemen, would you now please rise to welcome the Prime Minister of Singapore, Mr. Goh Chok Tong and Mrs. Goh.
And a very warm welcome indeed to Prime Minister Goh Chok Tong. Just behind him, Mrs. Goh and Mr. Yatiman Yusof. The Prime Minister is one who certainly believes in the importance of sport and keeping fit. He's an avid golfer and an enthusiastic tennis player as well.
And even the Prime Minister is going to have to take the kit.
And the sound of the pipes and drums from the Women Police Pipes and Drums, heralding the approach and the arrival of the state flag. And this is the SAF Provost Unit, decked out smartly indeed in their ceremonial number 1 uniform. And the state flag is marched down the stage in front of the Singapore Symphony Orchestra and will be making its way down towards the grandstand. And all the action is also being captured in vivid detail on the video board. The Women Police Pipes and Drums, 21 years old this year, familiar feature at national events. And the men from the Provost, a warm round of applause for them. With their smart precision drills, always a crowd pleaser. Very smart twirling of their Mark I Remington rifles with chromed bayonets, each of them weighing over 5.3 kilograms. And it takes many, many months of practice to get that drill right. Among the duties of the men from the Provost is the changing of the guard at the Istana on the first Sunday of every month. In a few moments, the President, Mr. Wee Kim Wee, will be arriving.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and welcome our guest of honor, the President of the Republic of Singapore, Mr. Wee Kim Wee, His Excellency, and the First Lady, Mrs. Wee.
President and Mrs. Wee making their way down the steps, accompanied by Dr. Yeo-Ning Hong, the President of the SEA Games Federation Council, who's also Defence Minister, and Mr. Dillon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the national anthem of Singapore.
Mari kita raya Singapura.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, let the ceremonial parade of the athletes and officials begin.
The entry of the athletes and officials, and we are going to have also the parachutists coming in with the various colours and flags. And here, at the moment, 3 contingents consisting of 232 men from the 71st Intake of Police, National Servicemen. They are bringing in the SEA Games flags. It's the logo, and marching down about 100 metres straight. Of course, we'll see some wonderful competition over the next 9 days as the crowds also look upwards, waiting for the parachutists. The flags of the participating countries are there. And that really is a most remarkable sight for the flags, as also, look, the SEA Games flag comes onto the centre circle. A remarkable achievement by Second Warrant Officer Yo Chibeng. The SEA Games flag has arrived. Perfect split-second timing. Brunei is the next to arrive with Captain Chan Wenlong. A little further so that he doesn't get mixed up, but the Brunei flag proudly comes to the centre. The clouds are high enough for these parachutists to have a very clear view of what they're aiming at. Coming down through the corridor once again, this time it is Indonesia. Staff Sergeant Segera. Just a little trip. That's safely in with the Indonesian flag. Now Laos. Right on the centre spot comes Laos through Staff Sergeant Hong Chua. They're just folding up their chutes now and coming for a final bow. Now, this young chap, I'm sure you've seen a little of him. Singer the mascot. Singer the mascot, developed by Lee Keng Ha, cartoonist of the new paper, and we welcome the Malaysian flag. First Warrant Officer Gunnar. Malaysia, they are in the centre spot as the colour of the SEA Games is paraded. The next in line from the air is Myanmar. Myanmar flag is safely to ground and following closely on its heels the Philippines. Staff Sergeant Ang Beng Hua. Bringing him in Myanmar was Tan Po Eng. After the Philippines is Thailand. Captain Ko Yong Chua doing a brilliant job right on the centre spot. Immediately after him, Vietnam. Second Warrant Officer Aravinda. And again, finds the centre circle. They look at the smile on his face. Is he enjoying that? As the flags also come very, very close by. He's having to move his parachute as the flag bearers still go. And there's the biggest cheer. The host of the 17th Games, SEA Games, Singapore's flag with Second Warrant Officer Simon Kang. And they're there as Brunei Darussalam now come into the stadium, march down the 100-metre straight, and 209 as participants from Brunei represented with His Royal Highness Prince Haji Sufri Bokar leading the way. The flag bearer is Pangeran Dato Kamaludin. Indonesia is next in. 730 athletes and officials, the biggest contingent of the Games. Their flag bearer is Verus Bilalu. Chef de mission is Mr. Sueno. Indonesia, of course, probably the favourites to take the overall honours in this 17th SEA Games. They were the champions by 1 gold medal, 92 gold medals last time. That was in the Philippines. They edged out the Philippines 92-91. They've got some wonderful athletes. The Indonesians will be looking forward, of course, to Mardi Lestari, see whether or not he can repeat his time of 10.4 for 100 metres. And Edward Abunome, the distance runner, 5,000, 10,000 metre runners, he held his record 87, 89 and 91. 730 athletes and officials waving to there's the Indonesian support as well. And it really is a riot of colour as they go down the 100-metre straight, round into the centre and down through the corridor of the national flags. Indonesia really going to be very, very difficult to beat. Chef de mission, Mr. Suweno. Well, they've all got little flags to wave as well. And the Prime Minister, Mr. Goh Chok Tong, just 2 days ago, of course, at the flame lighting ceremony, started so well. Everything went perfectly, and keeping our fingers crossed that that will continue. The night sky drawing in, but the celebration goes on as our camera moves from ground level up above the Indonesian contingent that continues to move. They managed to claim 102 gold medals in Kuala Lumpur in 1989, and certainly looking to do similar deeds this time round.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Laos.
And you heard the Master of Ceremonies calling attention to the contingent from Laos. Flag bearer, Mr. Chinda Bongkad, Chef de mission, Mr. Koreka. The Laotians have a contingent of 81. They managed 1 silver in Kuala Lumpur back in '89. They didn't manage any medals in the Philippines, but and that is really wonderful. Cheer for the Laotians. Everybody really appreciates that. The Malaysians on their way in, 522 of them. The flag bearer is Musa Talib, and the chef de mission is Datuk Khalid Yunus. 36 golds they managed in the Philippines, 67 when it was held in Kuala Lumpur. They really will be a force to reckon with. And of course, over the years, there have been some wonderful Malaysian athletes in the SEA Games and SIAP Games, as it was formerly known. Nurul Abdullah, the swimmer of the 80s, with 8 gold medals in 1989. And there we can see the president really fascinated. And the Malaysian national costume, very traditional, and they make a wonderful sight as they all move together in unison. Myanmar, formerly known as Burma, 212 representatives, participants and officials. Their flag bearer, Kyo Tet, and their chef de mission, Lieutenant Colonel Mien Tun. Myanmar, of course, have a wonderful history in these games. Jimmy Crampton has an unprecedented record of 6 gold medals in the 1500 meters back in the 60s, in fact from 69 through to 79. His time back in 1973 in Singapore, 3 minutes 52.8 for the 1500, was a marvelous time. Tant Zin, also 5 gold medals, and Tun Tin, 10 and 20 kilometer walk. There's some great athletes from Myanmar. They managed to achieve last time out, Myanmar, 12 gold medals. Now you can see the flags coming up on the flashcard display as they enter. Last time, 1991, the host country, the Philippines, greeted with great cheer. 91 gold medals they achieved last time, and they're really looking to improve that. The chef de mission from the Philippines, Mr. Steven Ontiveros. 580 athletes in total, and their flag bearer, Rafael Nepo Nocheno. Don't they enjoy themselves? And the crowd too. The Filipinos really, we're going to have a big push from a gentleman that really needs no introduction once we get underway with the athletics. Albert Go, he is claiming 10.3 seconds for the 100 meters, and let me tell you, he is going to be tremendously competitive. Of course, Lydia de Vega Macedo, the 100 and 200 meter champion through the 80s. 11.4, her best for the 100 meter sprint, and was the long jump champion back in 1987. So Philippines continue to make their way down the straight as the riot of colour continues to explode. And the contingents going further up into the grandstand. They're going to watch the mass displays a little bit later on. You can see once again our VIPs really enjoying the proceedings. A lot of pride here amongst these contingents. It's a great thrill for any opening of any major sporting competition to be part of that procession. Thailand is next. And there we can see the Thai banner being held by Singapore Airlines girl. Singapore girl leads in 606 participants from Thailand. The flag bearer is Mr. Damrong Kulpimai, and the chef de mission is Major General Charup Arira Chakara. The Thais always competitive. They've brought with them 6 Russian coaches for their athletics, so they're really very serious. Of course, we'll be looking at Seksaran Bunrat. Seksaran Bunrat, the 200-meter gold medalist in '91. And they'll be very competitive, of course, also in the boxing events and many other events as well. We welcome Vietnam. 178 of them behind flag bearer Trong Ngoc Dae, and the chef de mission is Mr. Thao Doan. Vietnam, who managed to get 7 gold medals in the Philippines, 3 gold medals in Kuala Lumpur. They're marvelous dress for the young ladies. And right in there for Vietnam, Truong Hoang Mai Lien. She's a sprinter, claims 11.9 meters for the 11.9 seconds, I beg your pardon, for the 100 meters. She's an undergraduate and is looking for gold this time out. They continue on down through the center between the national flags. 9 days of competition and 29 different sports. Now, you wait for the cheer right now. No guesses, or no prizes for guessing, is coming on to the stadium track right now. The host country, Singapore, 602 athletes and officials. Dr. Tanning Liang, we just caught a glimpse of him. And really, a marvelous moment for the host nation. 1973 was the first time Singapore hosted. 83 was the last time. And now, 10 years on, and look at the smiles. It tells all. Azman Abdullah is the Singapore's flag bearer. And Ang Peng Siong, he's the veteran of not only these games, but of many other games as well. Triple gold medalist, 100 meters, and of course he's still the record holder for the 50 meters freestyle. As the president waves his good wishes, and also the First Lady, to the Singapore contingent. Ang Peng Siong, in fact, in just a while, will take the oath on behalf of the competitors. Just held up for a moment. In fact, why not be held up there in a perfect position, right opposite the president? And isn't he enjoying it? 602 athletes and officials. Singapore in 1983 managed 38 goals. I think that'll be their target this year also. In 91, in Philippines, they managed 18 gold medals. But look, that is a wonderfully confident sight there as the balloons now rise from where the competitors, the participants and officials will be sitting in a couple of moments. And look at the eyes skywards. There's going to be a lot of that in a while too, because let me tell you, there's going to be a few fireworks lit in celebration of this opening. Well, the SEA Games is for everyone, isn't it? Coaches, officials there. Tremendous amount of effort, time, energy they've put in over the last few months and years. Of course, we've got our own heroes on the track as well, looking to perform. We look towards Hamka Afiq in the 100 meters. We also look towards James Wong, of course, in the discus. And although he managed a silver medal in '89, we're hoping that he can improve upon that. Oh, the crowd really giving the Singapore contingent a standing ovation. An absolutely wonderful, wonderful cheer. And our thoughts go back to athletes like Heather American. The 80 meters hurdles she won. The 70s, the 200-meter hurdles as well. And of course, from badminton, Wong Chun Kiat, who beat Astamo Abi in the 1983 badminton men's singles final to take gold medal. And this year, of course, we've got Zarina Abdullah, 16th in the world, and we're hoping that Zarina can do tremendously well on the badminton court. So, we're still watching the Vietnamese down through the center there, in front of the cue cards, the flashcards of the national flags, as Singapore now makes it around, down through the center. And there, the congratulations of the parachutists, the free fallers, and right on time, right on target. Oh, and look at that smile, that proud smile from the First Lady. Still continue the SSO on stage, continuing with the accompanying music. Welcome to the Lion City, still beautiful form there, and the Singapore contingent, I think, to be quite honest, the Vietnamese don't want to take their place in the stand. They want to stay down there and record all this wonderful colour. And that, of course, is part of the whole business of regional and international sporting competition. The unity and the friendship, we talk about it, but it is real. You can see once we have a full stadium of participants and their great smiles, obviously they're going to be a little nervous as well, hoping that they can do their country proud. But the most important thing is that they will strike up some wonderful friendships too. And Singer, of course, still in evidence. As we'll see, I'm sure, in just a couple of moments, Singer representing all their bottom corner of your screen. Ah, there we are. Now we can see them. 29 different sports. It's soccer, then gymnastics and weightlifting and hockey and karate, I've no doubt, and tennis and archery and golf and snooker and boxing. They're all there. Basketball, sepak takraw, fencing. My goodness. Volleyball, badminton. Now Singer passing the baton and coming to the center. And there's even a little dragon Singer just coming on the right of your screen. Of course, the dragon boat. Yes, Singer's been seen all over town this past couple of weeks on banners and little flags all over the place. He's certainly become such a familiar figure. And it's all added, of course, to the spirit and the mood of the coming SEA Games as it's built up over the past few days, the anticipation and the moments of glory that many are looking forward to.
And the far end of the stadium, packed this time with the participants, the athletes and the officials themselves. And next to Mr. Goh is Mrs. Goh is the Speaker of Parliament, the Tan Soo Khoon.
Just waiting there. You can see as the competitors take their seats, the balloons on which, or covering their seats, are released. So for every participant, and there are over 4,000 in terms of the officials and the participants themselves, over 4,000 balloons will be released.
And those in the crowd are also doing their bit to add to the whole mood and the atmosphere. President Wee and Mrs. Wee watching as the spectators have lit up their flashlights and they're waving their little flags and seeing the masks. And the logo of the 17th SEA Games flying high and proud on the line of SEA Games flags fronting the grandstand. Then coming onto the blue tarpaulin once more, the flags of the various nations, the 9 nations that's taken part in the 17th SEA Games. And there you have it, the map of the Southeast Asian region.
I really don't know how they manage it. They've got no cues on the ground. It's just practice and discipline, tremendous awareness of each other. Isn't that fantastic? Southeast Asia, we welcome you to Singapore. The cue card flags. Still the balloons rise from the participants down.
Those columns looking very grand indeed, lit against the evening sky, meant to represent the columns of City Hall. And for miles around, everybody living in the HDB blocks around the stadium, I'm sure, will be able to see the balloons as they rise into the sky.
Still Singapore marching up into position. On the video screen, the Merlion of Singapore. We're just waiting for a couple of moments and we'll have Dr. Yeo. Dr. Yeo Ning Hong will be making his address.
Please join me now in welcoming the President of the SEA Games Federation, Dr. Yeo Ning Hong, on stage to deliver his welcome address. Dr. Yeo.
Dr. Yeo Ning Hong, the President of SEA Games Federation, who's been very much the man behind all the preparations and organization of the SEA Games. And Dr. Yeo is quite well known as a yachtsman as well.
Your Excellency President Wee Kim Wee and Mrs. Wee, Your Excellency Prime Minister Goh Chok Tong and Mrs. Goh, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the people of Singapore, I extend a warm welcome to all our friends from abroad to the 17th Southeast Asian Games in Singapore. A special welcome also goes to the international judges and the athletes and officials of the participating countries, namely Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. The SEA Games is a happy and joyous occasion. It is a celebration of the spirit of youth. It is its achievements and its aspirations. It brings together the best athletes representing 400 million people in Southeast Asia. They come to compete and to spur each other to greater excellence in the spirit of sportsmanship and camaraderie. The SEA Games have made progress in parallel with the achievements of the nations in our region. 10 years ago, when the Games were last held in Singapore, there were 18 sports and 2,500 participants. This year, there are 29 sports and 5,000 participants, comprising 3,000 competitors and 2,000 officials and media specialists. Through live television via satellite, 120 million people in Southeast Asia are sharing in our opening ceremony. This symbolizes vividly our solidarity. A special feature of our Games is the inclusion of sports well loved in the region, such as Silat Ola Raga, Sepak Takraw, and Wushu. Such sports give our Games its unique Southeast Asian character. Through the Games, we make new friends and renew old acquaintances. We join hands across the seas. We rejoice in our unity in diversity as we pursue our common destiny of peace, progress, and prosperity for our region. In the coming days, many records will be rewritten. Many athletes will win medals. But all competitors are winners in their own right, for they have already secured the most valuable prize, namely the character development that comes from the many months and years of discipline, determination, and dedication needed to achieve their potentials. True sportsmanship transcends victories, medals, and records. True sportsmanship is the glorious and endless strive for the ultimate achievement within the bounds of human frailty and the constraints of international rules of fair play. So to all SEA Games athletes, I say, give of your best for yourself, for your family, and for your country. No one should settle for less, nor can anyone ask for more. For in giving of your best, you personify the Olympic aspiration and motto, faster, higher, stronger. It is now my honor and privilege to invite the President of the Republic of Singapore, His Excellency Mr. Wee Kim Wee, to declare the 17th Southeast Asian Games open. Thank you.
President Wee, very much the People's President.
I declare open the 17th Southeast Asia Games.
And a pigeon, that's the release of a pigeon, a tradition of previous SEA Games.
Not just one, but many, many pigeons.
Bringing with them the message of friendship and unity from the heart of Singapore. And there they go around the stadium.
The lights dim, we wait in anticipation of the fireworks. And look at the torches. The torches of all the spectators, and there are the fireworks. The star mines, the Roman candles.
And go for gold.
And high above the stadium, there's the logo. And it really is a magical, magical night here at the stadium. More fireworks, the oohs and the ahs from the crowd. And a little dove in front of us. I hope it escapes before the fireworks manage to engulf it. That really is a stunning look at that all over the stadium.
And that's not the end of it either. There'll be even more in store as we carry on with this 90-minute ceremony. The pigeons and the streamers on the flashcards, and a quick change to the next scene, the Garden City, the orchid, Singapore national flower. And making their way onto the field, 930 boys and girls from Boon Lay Secondary, Commonwealth Secondary, Crescent Girls, Green Ridge, Ihwa Secondary and Yusof Ishak Secondary, with a display item that's called Garden City.
Well, he obviously doesn't want to leave his garden. Who would want to? These young girls have done a marvellous job. We say it time and again, but they are so long-suffering. They spend hours and hours out in the hot sun. They have a tremendous amount of discipline and energy. And of course, great timing as well. Great shot of the cue cards, flashcards, and the young girls.
And this is a culmination of months and months and months of rehearsals. And they're going to go through various formations that trace the growth of the garden as flowers bloom and doves, real doves that you'll be seeing later on frolicking among the flowers.
Yes, indeed. Right on cue.
Just some of the 20,000 who will be taking part in the display items this evening.
We have seen this many times, Diana, but let me tell you, the atmosphere, now that we are live, and it is the real thing, is just sensational. It's just a marvellous feeling here.
And I can just sense that the performers on the field are probably enjoying themselves as much as they could hope to, or even more, this being an evening that they'll long remember.
Many chances in their lives to do something like this. And they're taking that chance with open arms. Whether you noticed, but those cane hoops, the colours changed. We had gold, red. Now we have totally red, as the patterns become even more complicated.
And moving into center stage now is a mobile stage that weighs over 2.5 tons. And the doves make their appearance in the garden. All the music for the various mass displays this evening has been written by Ricky Hole.
A proud mum waving there.
At least one. And the SEA Games logo atop the mobile stage as the girls make their way. It looks like a large birthday cake from where we're seated.
Domino effect. Special effect there. Our beautiful doves.
I don't know if the organizers planned for the arrival of the real pigeons in the middle of their mass display.
They certainly add a degree of reality to the spectacle. Is that Vanda Miss Joachim over the rainbow?
Certainly looks like it.
Singapore's national flower, the orchid Vanda Miss Joachim. And there's another flower being created. Aha, there's the change. There's the secret revealed. This is really an interesting movement. Linked arms, bridging, passing on. More and more spotlights are brought onto the proceeding, or into the proceedings. And I must say, Diana, this blue tarpaulin makes a tremendous difference as the backdrop to this magical display.
It certainly does add a great dash of colour. Beautiful contrast against the golden props held up high by these girls in the very pretty dresses.
Roars of approval and appreciation from the spectators for the girls from Boon Lay Secondary, Crescent Girls, Greenwich Secondary, Yu Hua Secondary, Commonwealth Secondary, and Yusof Ishak Secondary School.
The little boys and girls of Townan School.
And making their way onto the field next, being watched by the Singapore contingent and the other contingent and some 30,000 spectators among them. The young'uns, the which we'll be seeing in a short while, I'm sure. Just a section of the athletes and officials from the other countries taking part in the SEA Games. And it's the turn of the young'uns. Nearly 800 pupils from Thaonan Primary with an item called Exuberance of Vitality. Probably a message that says one's never too young to exercise and keep fit. And they've gotten the whole stadium clapping along.
Did I see Malaka Wabra?
It's always the young'uns that capture the hearts of the crowd.
Just coming round from the car park just before the opening ceremony, and these little ones were so excited, yet they were all sitting in beautiful rows having their evening meal prior to the event. And of course, it's not just now, but it's all the enormous number of hours that they've put in with their teachers and their coaches. This little balance movement, not one of them better fall. They do well. One of our practices, Diana, I remember flying into KL late one afternoon, expecting one practice to have gone ahead as planned, but unfortunately it rained all day, and these little ones were waiting very patiently for about 8 hours before they came on stage. Really just show tremendous discipline and great deal of character, not just on behalf of themselves, but also their teachers as well.
Well, I'm sure the flawless performance and the appreciation of the 60,000 strong crowd in the stadium must have made all that worthwhile.
I'm sure they'll be looking forward to our telecast review as well. Have a little innovation. What's this?
Some boys from the Singapore Armed Forces showing us one way of keeping fit if you're not scared of heights, I guess.
You need a couple of ladders as well, huh?
Not to mention good friends to hold them up as well. There you have it. No hands. Almost.
Silver stars now on the Thaonan students. Do they make ladders that strong these days? My goodness.
That's the kids of Thaonan Primary, one of the oldest schools in Singapore, established in 1906.
Wondering whether or not the cameraman had trodden on a few then. 1906, well that really is tremendous history, heritage.
That's right, they started teaching in Hokkien and was also one of the first schools in Singapore to use Mandarin as the medium of instruction a few years later. Has a total enrollment of some 2,000 pupils at the moment.
Well, nearly half of them are here. We detect some large balloons coming on the scene. I don't know if you can see them. Just to spot them gets about, there they are, just in the right corner of our picture. And there's another one, a rainbow balloon. are they going to get down? Yeah. It's the executed jump and roll.
And on the flashcards in the back, a depiction of various sports. And I can just about make out a sun, a star.
I can see Singer, and I can see a football. There you go, there's the football. There's Singer going across the centre, and a balloon of the world just on the right. Oh, I see. The dragon boat, yeah, one of the 29 sports, and canoeing right behind them. Now a few more. Ah, there's another soccer ball, or 3, or 4. Cyclists there, they've got a little fun. There's some Roman candles attached to their handlebars, or is it the wheel? Oh, it's the wheel. And badminton. Well, we're going to see some great badminton played in the SEA Games. The Indonesians, of course, dominated championship for years. Gunawan, Hartono, Lim Swee King. Malaysia with the Sidek brothers, Rasif and Jelani. And Kok Kyong and Rashid Sidek are not here this year. So we could be seeing some badminton newcomers on the scene. That was really splendid from the youngsters, wasn't it?
That was indeed, yes.
The crowd appreciate it. VIPs also offer their congratulations.
And among the VIPs, Mr. Lim Boon Heng, Mr. Yeo Chow Tong, President and Dr.
Ladies
Yeo.
and gentlemen, please welcome the SEA Games flag.
The entry of the SEA Games flag, and we'll get down to some very real ceremonial moments as Si Kunlan on the centre, waving. Kunaland, triple gold medalist at the 5th SEAP Games. Right behind him is Adeline Wee, the World Masters bowling champion. Behind her, I beg your pardon, is Khatijah Surati, 1987 Sportswoman of the Year. And the right side at the back, David Lim, the SEA Games 100 metres and 200 metres backstroke record holder.
Behind him is Adeline Wee.
Zainal Abidin on the left. Right behind Zainal is Sia Kun. Zainal, of course, the 9-time East Asian squash champion, as the flag goes over our camera.
Surati, the 1987 sportswoman.
On the right side of the camera there now, Sia Kun, gold medalist at the 16th SEA Games Women's Broadsword Wushu event. As the SEA Games flag is raised to the VIPs. The Roman candles on the fringe of the track. SEA Games flag, the 6 interlocking golden rings on the blue background, the blue representing the colours of the sea which surrounds the countries in the SEA Games, and of course the golden colour of the rings symbolising purity. Zarina Abdullah is also there. You can just see her on the far side. There she is, just waving on the far side. And Matthew Tan, the captain of the national water polo team, which is an unbroken gold record in the SEA Games series. The water polo champs, of course, 13 gold medals from 1965 to 91, and looking forward to yet another record gold medal haul this year. Taneng Liang, of course, Dr. Taneng Liang, the chef de mission, was representative of Singapore at the Melbourne Olympic Games in water polo.
Which is an unbroken gold medal record in the SEA Games series.
Here are the MCs at the stadium explaining that we have some sporting heroes right here, and the Singapore crowd get to their feet as well. Well, if this doesn't inspire them, I don't know what will, Diana.
I'm sure it will. What a wonderful atmosphere there is tonight as the lights have dimmed and all attention is focused on the 6 golden rings that stand for the 6 original countries that took part in the first SEAP Games, as it was known then, in 1959. Thailand, Burma, Laos, Malaysia, Singapore and Vietnam. Mr. Lim Soon Lee is the conductor of the Singapore Symphony Orchestra, playing at the National Stadium for the first time today. And what a long way the SEA Games has come since 1959, when there were only 12 sports and some 650 athletes taking part. What a growth to 29 events and over 4,000 people converging in Singapore. And at the end of the Tannhauser March, it's a piece of music written by Major Tony Wei as the gigantic flag is hoisted.
Hope that when it rises to the top of the pole, it will stand proudly. Very light material. And you can see the crowd in the background absolutely ecstatic. They're so close to the action.
The stadium here in 1973, of course, was built in time for the SEAP Games, which was held in Singapore in '73. And the stadium was opened by former Prime Minister Mr. Lee Kuan Yew 20 years ago. And as it billows gently in the breeze, the stage is set for perhaps what's going to be the most important moment of the ceremony, John.
Well, it might be the most important. It's certainly the most nerve-wracking. 48 hours, and it's now here. Ong Chuan-Hui, the 1991 SEA Games gold medalist and the 1993 Sports Girl of the Year, has the honor of bringing the torch into the stadium. And what a wonderful moment for her. This young lady, we've got a lot of ambition, I think is the right word, as far as the nation is concerned for this young girl. She has tremendous potential as a sailor, and who knows, maybe Olympic medals in years to come. She's going to pass it on to Tan Wen Ho, the 1991 SEA Games silver medalist and 1993 Sports Boy of the Year. There he is, Wen Ho. Now, 70,000 people have held this torch in the 48 hours, 81 constituencies, 500 kilometers it's gone, and Singapore, you've proudly taken the torch on its route from Sentosa Musical Fountain all the way to this moment. And we're, of course, absolutely over the moon that it's gone without a hitch. It was spectacularly lit with a laser beam and a fireball into the cauldron, and our Prime Minister, Mr. Goh, then lit it, passed it on to Tan Hao Liang, the silver medalist at the Rome 1960 Olympics in weightlifting. He then passed it down the line of the chef de mission and then on to Tan Eng Yun. It's now picked up by Benedict Tan, the gold medalist at the 15th and the 16th SEA Games. Dr. Benedict Tan, and the three of them now move on down the back straight in front of the flash cards of the various sports. In a little while we move on, but the atmosphere is electric. Chariots of Fire is the theme tune, and as they move in front of the crowd and of course the balloons, it's now Grace Young. The smile beamed out. She's trying to control her emotions, I'm sure. Double gold medalist at the 1991 SEA Games and 3 times Sportswoman of the Year, and really a most popular character. Well, you don't know what's going to happen, how the cauldron is going to be lit, but let me tell you, it is going to be spectacular. The wave to the Singapore athletes and participants. And they really are so proud to be part of this marvelous festival. Well, we are going to have a countdown. The MC is just explaining it. And the Doves are still in front of our position here in the commentary box as Grace comes to, shall I call it a contraption or a cannon?
It's more like a cannon.
Okay, it's a cannon. Grace Young is there. The countdown has started. The torch lights up the fuse. 3, 2, 1. The cauldron is on the far side. It goes high into the air. And there it is. The flame has been thrown across the track, across the center of the stage, into the cauldron. And the fireworks light up the sky once again.
And you can just about make out the traffic on the left on Nickel Highway. And the lights from the various apartment blocks around the stadium. The light of the cauldron directly across the grandstand, surrounded now by flashes, by all around the brim of the stadium. It's come alight. This is a birthday cake with thousands and thousands and thousands of candles to blow out, John.
Well, I tell you, we've got the most wonderful view there. Anybody that's coming into Singapore as a visitor this time of the evening to Changi Airport must be wondering what is going on, because it is just stunning.
We will now have the SEA Games pledge for the athletes and the officials. For all athletes and officials, please stand.
Ang Peng Siong will take the pledge for the athletes.
Would you please welcome Mr. Ang Peng Siong, 1982 Asian Games gold medalist, winner of 17 SEA Games gold medals, and SEA Games 50-meter freestyle gold medal.
In the name of all the competitors, I promise that we shall take part in the 17th Southeast Asian Games, respecting and abiding by the rules which govern them, in a true spirit of sportsmanship, for the glory of the sport and the honor of our team.
Thank you, Mr. Ang Peng Siong. And to lead the pledge for the officials, please welcome Mr. Woon Swee Kat, member of the Technical Swimming Committee of Federation International de Natation Amateur. Mr. Woon.
In the name of all the judges and officials, I promise that we shall officiate in the 17th Southeast Asia Games with complete impartiality, respecting and abiding by the rules which govern them in the true spirit of sportsmanship.
And Mr. Woon
Thank you
is
very much.
probably
Mr.
one of
Woon Swee
swimming's
Kat.
most experienced
All
officials.
officials, please be seated.
Well, he certainly is. I was with him in 1975 in
Ladies and
Bangkok.
gentlemen, please
He's
welcome
a
now
wonderful
the
supporter of athletes.
1,200 strong participants from the Singapore Soccer Association with the Vibrant City.
And we move on into the finale of this evening's ceremony. 1,200 young men and women from the Singapore Soccer Association moving into the spotlight on the blue tarpaulin of the National Stadium against the backdrop of a golden, glittering and shimmering SEA Games logo. Their display called Vibrant City, a depiction of determination, true grit and teamwork. And the Singapore Soccer Association is certainly no stranger to mass displays. They're a regular feature at national days and have been for many, many years. The association started out in 1972 was then called the Singapore Nichiren Shoshu Buddhist Association. So it's been around for some 25 years.
Difficult movement that requires tremendous coordination. This bowing and moving, and it goes not only in one direction but also on the diagonal. Now the lights. The lights in the auditorium, out on the stands. Oh my goodness, don't they look fantastic from the air? Like a Milky Way, the lights in the center of the arena. It's like a diamond there.
The fireball displayed, symbolizing the fire of determination, the spirit true and strong, that brings together all the seven parts as one. Ladies and gentlemen, applause.
Wonderful effect. Now the pyramids on the outside. We'll be seeing 4 high. I don't think I'd like to be the one on the top that suddenly falls, but we'll see. Practicing long and hard to make it right on the night. There are the safety people on the outside. And the music emphasizes the drama. Can we get up? The lights, the spotlights are flashing there. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. And the standing to finish. There it is, the human tower reaching to the sky as the spotlights illuminate and the spectators' lights behind really emphasize wonderful achievement.
And once again, a formation taking shape in the middle of the field. And the spectators with their flashlights adding to the whole carnival atmosphere, holding their breath just a little as the drums sound up, the raw energy of the drums, as they wonder what next is in store. And if you look very carefully in the center of your screen, besides the logo of the SEA Games, the skyline of Singapore, luminous and glowing in the dark.
And it's not just static, it is moving. It's rising behind. In front of the cue card display, there is the ring. The rings of the SEA Games logo. Stunning, stunning motif. Still, the skyline of Singapore grows taller. And even taller, up towards the cauldron.
And that's still not the end. In just a few moments, we'll be coming to one of the most difficult formations that will be seen for this opening ceremony. reaching towards the pinnacle.
And trust me, I won't drop you. Yes, and so accompanying this most dramatic, vibrant city. Shooting stars one moment from the galaxy, almost like laser beams across the front of the VIP stand. Now different shapes. It's so amazing that these shapes and forms can be completed in such second perfect timing. Evident now as the lights come back on again. Just a couple of moments.
The human bridge, what strength, what balance it must take. Arms linked, bodies stretched out forward. A human bridge linking people, reaching out. The message of brotherhood and unity.
City by the Singapore Soka Association. Would you please give them a round of applause?
Well, didn't they deserve it too?
An excellent display of strength, concentration. And now, it gives me great pleasure to invite back on stage the regional singers to sing the SEA Games song once again. Ladies and gentlemen, the SEA Games singers, here they are. And they'll be singing for you, Bring On the Smiles. Please join in and sing along.
And this is a song that's been heard very often recently. It's come to stand for the 17th SEA Games. Written by Nicholas Singh and Ken Lim, it's Bring On the Smiles.
Together we will be one in harmony. Celebration for
Jessica Su from Singapore.
Let's bring out all the glory for one for all. Share the joy in our destiny.
We'll show the world we care with hearts that understand. Till lend a helping hand, we'll do all we can.
Avi from Indonesia.
We'll always stay, living in a very special place. Let us build a bridge across the bonds. Bring out the love and bring on the
Ariel
smiles.
from the Philippines.
Build a bridge for you and me will be.
Voted the Best Supporting Actor in Metro Manila Film Festival 92. Oh, these high fireworks now above the stadium as Awi from Malaysia looks skywards as well. And Mani from Thailand.
In the meantime, it's over 1,300 kilograms of fireworks going off, and Mani from Thailand joins in to bring on the smiles. You can just hear the sound and feel the reverberation of the fireworks going off. light and color can be seen for miles around.
Well, I've used the word stunning so many times. Maybe I better change it to magnificent, unbelievable. But it really is the most wondrous sight here. And those fireworks are just marvelous, miraculous. The commentary booth is shaking, Diana, help me.
And it's not just the children in the audience that are enjoying themselves, I can tell you that. Well, that was 17 hours of hard work, because those fireworks were placed late last night and the men worked through the night to make sure that everything would be just perfect this evening.
Well, they've got some wonderful names. The Australian red with blue core shell, the Japanese brocade Kamau shell, the Chinese silver rain tail, the Taiwanese orange chrysanthemum shell. They're all there. Oh, it's just a riot of colour. What a crescendo, what a climax to a magnificent opening ceremony. Well, I was in Barcelona, but I don't recall seeing fireworks like this, I tell you. Unbelievable.
It's a great fireball. And the shrieks from the crowd.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to an exciting finale of the opening ceremony. Would you please put your hands together for the display participants? Yes!
It's no wonder the MCs are beginning to lose their voices. It really is
The Singapore
a
Symphony
fantastic
Orchestra!
opening ceremony.
And of course, not forgetting over there,
Spectacular colour on the field.
thank you very much.
There's the logo of the SEA Games, and all the participants are now on the field. And look at the smile of our president. There's a proud man.
With us. Could you please now rise as the president makes his departure? Thank you, Mr. President.
And as President Wee takes his leave, it brings us to the end of today's ceremony. But it's only the start to the next 8 days of competition, which will see the finest athletes of the region in action, in competition for the glorious sport, for the glory of their nations. But the first event is the marathon at 5:30 tomorrow morning. John, you're going to be there bright and early for that, aren't you?
I hoped you wouldn't remind me of that, but yes, indeed, 5:30, that's the first event. The marathon is out. Yes, we'll be there. And thank you indeed, Mr. President. We are proud to have you, and I'm sure you enjoyed the display. Well, we promised you a spectacular feast for heart and eyes, and I'm sure that the 100 million viewers from around the region will feel a great sense of togetherness after witnessing that remarkable opening ceremony. Now it's down to the nitty-gritty of tough competition, the quest for success on the sports field. With you at home, it's up to you, viewers, to go out and support your favourite sport or team at the various venues throughout the Republic. Don't worry, we won't miss any of the action, because SBC will be bringing you 9 hours coverage daily. So join us daily on SBC, the heartbeat of the Games.
Thank you very much, John Burgess and Diana Coe at the National Stadium. That certainly was an impressive way to start the 17th SEA Games. Our congratulations to everybody involved. It's been 10 years since the last SEA Games in Singapore, and perhaps that's an indication of the joy and involvement of our ASEAN friends.
Well, I am so moved. I don't really know what to say. I'm so proud to be a Singaporean. We are going to take you live tomorrow to the National Stadium, right here on 12. There'll be a repeat telecast at 12 tomorrow of this opening ceremony, and then at 2 to the National Stadium for the athletics. And you just stay with us on 12 on the Channel of the Games.
We'll also be bringing you the start of the swimming, the diving, the volleyball, and hockey preliminaries as well, right up till 10 p.m. tomorrow night.
So join us tomorrow at noon on SBC 12, Channel of the Games.
I'm Peter Bodwin.
I'm Pat Chad. Good night.
Good night.
It must have been
Yes, those last few penalty kicks certainly made it a very sad night for Singapore indeed. But our young Lions were brave. They gave us a lot to cheer about during that week. Let's go over now to the National Stadium to join commentators Mark and Jamie for the final between Myanmar and Thailand.
Right, welcome to the National Stadium for the SEA Games soccer final, and two sides which kicked.
Starters orders now. And they're off to a very good start. Very even race there with Sukalong of Thailand slightly ahead in the lead. And it's Jocelyn and Adlin Lim, Jocelyn in the lead now, followed by Sukalong of Thailand and Adlin Lim of Singapore in third position for the moment. It's Jocelyn all the way. Jocelyn for her number 9 gold medal. Yes, Jocelyn winning in 26.93 seconds. This is a new SEA Games record. In second position was Sukalong of Thailand in 27.43. And in way back in lane number 8, whom we missed, it's Marie Ong of the Philippines, finishing with a bronze medal, pipping out Adlin Lim of Singapore for 4th place. And there you have it. Jocelyn Yeo winning medal number 9. What a race for Jocelyn.
representing Singapore, Mei Wei.
And Mei, on her way to her first individual gold medal. In second position is the girl from Vietnam, Nguyen Thu An. And on the 150-meter mark now, it's still Mei Wei, followed by Prapasai of Thailand. Yes, Mei in second position is Prapasai of Thailand. In third position, we have Susanti of Indonesia.
Prapasai of Thailand looks much stronger in here, but I think Mei Wei, with the crowd helping her, will come out the winner. We'll see.
This is going to be very tough because in the butterfly, towards the last 15 or 20 meters, it's going to be very, very close race here with Mei in the center of your screen coming in now. Yes, it looks like Mei finishing first in the new time of 2 minutes 18.